Hello?
Jimmy Miller.
Yeah.
I know I got you on the line now.
Oh, yeah?
I've been wanting to hit you up. I tried the other day. Some crazy stuff happened. But, you know, you're a musician from Southeast Arkansas, and I try to cover as many as I can. And I appreciate you taking my call on this.
Sure, no problem.
Man, like I said, I'm a seasoned veteran of what you've done. You know, I've listened to some of it, and I ain't listened to all of it because I know you've been playing for a while. Tell us a bit about your musical history. What all you done? I mean, you're kind of older guy like me now, and you're still doing stuff. But tell us way back to now. Tell us all about it.
That's now. Man, I started. I guess when I was about, I don't know. I was 27. Hold on, sir. March. Started when I was about 24. I used to do live sound with Andy Bryant, 2 fellas around here over in El Dorado and stuff. And I had an unfortunate incarceration one time. And when I was 24, I got locked up down in Louisiana for selling dope. And I decided then to hurt my feelings because I had a Motley Crue concert coming up there at Shreveport. And I was locked up. It was in Skid Row and then in Warren. But then it hurt my feelings because I didn't get to go. So I said, when I get out, that's what I want to do. I want to be a musician. I want to do music instead of just do sound. So when I got out, I paroled out back to Arkansas, to Warren. Went and got a job with the street team, the street crew there at Warren, you know, the city. Got a job for the city. And I worked about 3 weeks, saved my money up, and went and opened me a account up at the credit union. And then I put my money in the bank, and I borrowed about $400 or $500 from them. And I went to El Dorado at the time. They had Robertson's Music Company over there. And I bought my first 4-track recorder. And man, that's what I started off with. And it advanced on up. I winded up in Nashville, Tennessee. And I wound up spending decent money on studio there. But I got it at the time. I was just producing everybody, just trying to help everybody get started. But when I come back to Warren, there wasn't that many people around doing it. So I had to learn the equipment myself. So I can't sing, so I started rapping. And I just really started off there by myself. And, you know, things expanded out for me. My first adventure was with the CCB, is what we called it. It was a criminal class villain. It was me, a dude they called Big Six, Marlo, and Richard, and he was from Los Angeles. And we made a couple of albums. We had Paul Grant get behind us and back us, you know. We did a few little shows, some in Kentucky, some down here in Arkansas. And that group split up, and it branched off into a thing called the Freezer House. And the Freezer House got consistent for, we were sitting there one night and it was like 20 degrees in there trying to record with no fucking heat whatsoever. And at the time, Paul Wall and the Swisher House and all them were big. And my partner said, damn, the Swisher House, this is the Freezer House. So that's how we got the name Freezer House. And we Freezer House never did have no really success, so to speak, like CCB did. But we quit that and it branched off into Hog Gorilla. And I wasn't a part of Hog Gorilla, but I was in the background of Hog Gorilla. And just a minute. And I finally quit all in because during that time I was doing gangster rap. And but I wasn't no gangster, but I didn't realize that later on. And I took me a long break off of it and come back in with Brian Jenkins. I schooled him on gang, got him going, and me and him had a falling out. But during that time, I was redefining myself, and that's when I come back as Deacon Jim. And I said, I ain't finna write nothing I don't do like I was doing. And I'm just gonna keep it real. I'm gonna be true to myself and just give these people who I am. There's gotta be somebody out there that relates to it. And so far, I've had a little bit of fan following. I fell off, but I blame that due to the COVID and everything, but I've got some new material I'm working on. It's coming up, and I'm in no hurry to release it. I guess you could say it's kind of like Guns N' Roses Chinese and Democracy album. Took 14 years, $5.6 million to make it. Nah. But no, I got some new music coming out. Planning on shooting some videos, and I think it's gonna be exciting in 2022.
So now, go way back there for me. You said Andy Bryant. You mean like now Andy Bryant? I know one from up there around Monticello area, and he plays the guitar and all kinds of things. But he plays kind of a folky type music. Is that who you talk about, or somebody else?
No, that's him.
I'll get it in a minute.
That's him. I used to help him run sound over at here at Warren there in the Pink Tomatoes Festivals and everything.
In a minute. Yeah. Now,
No.
Paul Wall. Now, Paul Wall. I've heard that name before too. I think. Tell me about if there's any significance to that.
Yeah, Paul Wall. He's a rapper out of Houston, Texas. There. Hold on one second.
Yeah, I know I heard that. So now you've been talking about a time period here, like say starting way back there. About what year? Like say the 90s, or when you start out with all that project? I mean, you had a long history already described, but when did it start? About what time period?
We like about between 95 and 97.
So that's 25 years. That's 25 years. I've seen it.
Yeah, but when I turned 50, that would have made 25. So it's been like 25, about 27 years ago, damn near 30.
Dang, now, I'm not going to get you to tell me how many songs you wrote, but how many projects or albums have you been involved in during that time period? I'm not talking about like playing on them, but like producing them, because that means a whole lot. If you can do that, I mean, that's being on an album. I mean, that's having influence.
Producer-wise, man, I can tell you, I've been on quite a few of them. Features, I've had quite a few produced. I produced all the PCV, Freezer House, and most of Summerhawk. Really, they picked it up pretty good. My son Michael Tyler, he had one record out. I produced it. Man, it's a lot of them that I produced. Some of them I don't forgot. I don't even know the name.
Now, with your music, and like I said, I've heard a pretty slim. But actually, I went back and listened to all I could find. But now,
don't know all I had.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can find stuff too. You know, like there's a lot of stuff on me that I don't want anybody to hear my music from a long time ago. When I first, whenever you have a guitar with 3 strings, and of course you play it because you're an artist, but you don't want anybody to hear it 20 years from now, maybe 30 years, but not 20 years. But so I've heard a wide swath of your music, and it's all been good. But what is your favorite part of it? I mean, what era, and maybe the years and your age to tie it in, so I can see what was your favorite. And maybe
my favorite is the creative part. Not so far much as the writing, because I get aggravated when I write. But when it all comes together to a whole, when at the creative part comes down, then it comes down where you got to record this and mix this all together and blend it in. And that's the part I enjoy the most, is at the end of it, where I can see what the final product will be.
Hey, I've been involved with that some. When you're going through and you may be editing something down, and people don't understand what editing means, but you may be looking at every second of, like, say, 9, 10 different tracks for one song and picking out noise. And, I mean, it's not no easy. I mean, some people may call it easy, but most people, that kind of detail that's
it becomes a chore, and I had my bouts with depression and bipolar and stuff here. And I might jump up one day and write 30 songs that week, and then I might not write no more for like 3 months.
I don't think that's unusual. I mean, I hear, Garth Brooks took 10 years off one time. I mean, it just makes sense because really to write a song, if you write all the music for it and the lyrics for it and arrange it and then rearrange it 27,000 1,000 more times to put it out there. Sometimes just 7 times, whatever. But that's an emotional task because that song's a part of you. I mean, it becomes. I mean, it's you. It's you in some way.
Yeah.
You know.
I can't always tell somebody what I mean. You know, I can't always look you in your eye and tell you exactly what I mean. But I might go write the song real quick and give you a better idea of what I mean.
For sure.
I might not can tell you about it, but I can make you feel it.
I mean, I communicate to a lot of people on a personal level. It's like I couldn't say to them what I needed to say to them. But if I went and spent time and energy and saying the right words to them, it's like, look, man, this is a woman most of the time. This is what I'm trying to tell you. You know, right here. I can't explain it to you with just every word. And that's why everybody runs the music, because you, as an artist, have delved into that emotion. And you felt it. You fucking felt that shit. You wallowed around in it. Got wet in it. Drunk in it, high in it. Swam in it. Jumped out of it. And then you finally give them something they can every time they think about it, they can turn that shit on and think, this is what this motherfucker here is trying to say what I'm fucking feeling right now. And that's a win right there. And I know there's been many people who do it with your music. And I know you felt like you've done that before, hadn't you?
Yeah, I've done it. My most notable one would be Nowhere. That's the one everybody kind of is relating to right now. It's Nowhere song. And, it was just a fluke, really, that happened. But it's the one that got the most plays on it. You know, most streams and everything. It's the one with the most success right now. And it indulges in a lot of emotions, but it wasn't received as it was perceived. If that makes any sense, it wasn't taken as it was written.
Yeah, I got you, man. You had to. It just. Hey, man, if I get 2 or 3 lines, sometimes I say the gods gave it to me. The gods pull back the skirt and let me see behind the stage or the curtain and let me see for 2 seconds. You know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I know you do. But now the note, what was that song? We may try to put it in the background behind this back here, because it'd probably sound better with that playing. Don't you think?
Nowhere.
Yeah. Do I own that one? Can't remember if I bought that one from you. Said old enough that I would have bought it.
Yeah.
Brand new.
Yeah, it was on my discography. Maybe you bought it.
I know I did, because I know that song. That would be good.
Oh,
I dug that.
It's one of Mike Brummer. You know Mike Brummer?
Yeah, I think I know the name.
He does my guitar work in it. He did all my guitar work up to about like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we just had a falling out because his viewpoints are kind of like Brian Jenkins' viewpoints. They don't know why I do so much cussing in my song, but it ain't because I run out of words. It's just I'm trying to make emphasis right there, and that's the word I choose to use. Whether I was writing a song or whether if I was talking to you face to face, I would still use the same word.
I had a band one time that I played with, and the drummer. This was something he said to me later on. He's like, I had no idea what you even said. I felt the rhythm of it. I didn't get it. I didn't listen to the words. I was listening to the rhythm. So he didn't even know what he was representing. And that's, he feel it. I get that. But I think it's dumb, because I don't agree with that. Because people don't really even, they may listen to it some, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think I regret that they did that with you, because I understand falling out, because if you're making music, there's always, unless you have a contract up front that everybody's the same, it gets hard, right. But if something was more creative,
I just believe in trying to give them who I am.
Yeah.
If you listen to my music, you'll find out my music is the same way I talk. My music is the same way I live.
Well,
so unless I'm going through a major change, why would I change up anything?
Well, you talk about that because you're a guy my age, and because we've seen all kinds of things through the years, and you say you talk like you live and you play music. So there's a little bit of there's different cultures mixed there. I tell you this, John Mellencamp came out a few years ago and said that his great grandmother was black.
Right. Yeah, that's normal. I mean, that's acceptable nowadays. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it might have been a different story, but nowadays, back when he first got his start going, I imagine he couldn't reveal that. But today, no big deal.
He's exactly right. Of course, now, like me and you were talking the other day, just kind of BSing around. It's like, you know, I listen to a lot of these young guys when they're around, specifically the Atlanta, Georgia, you know, Migos and Offset and the Baby and all that kind of stuff. Man, that music.
The baby.
In one pocket is 32,000. The other pocket, that's what a Glock is. That's
right.
what a Glock is. You know, so like those guys there, see, they're tapping into that younger generation, but we ain't really there. Man, you know, we're talking about something else. You talking about a guitar, and you know, I'm not saying the Baby won't throw a guitar in there because he can and he will and he does sometimes, but it's not the staple.
Right. Yeah, they there's a lot of real artists out there. There's an awful lot of studio gangsters too. They get paid to say what the record company wants them to say. They just had the voice to say that with. I'm not saying none of that about the fellas you mentioned. I'm not saying about nobody in particular. I'm just saying there's a lot of real ones. There's a lot of fake ones. It's like they reported Young Dolph got killed. You know, back when Mo 3 got killed, you know, the question is, you're making all this money. Why are you still in the streets? Because that's what they are. That's who they are. That's what they represent.
What was he at? Was he a local kind of guy? Who was that you talking about?
Yeah. Mo 3, he was out of Dallas.
Yeah, but that's still local for us.
Yeah, it's recent, yeah. And Young Dolph, he's up in Memphis. So, you know, it's all close around us, you know, but that's who they are. That's what they represent.
Yeah, it's right there around us. Now, what about the music scene around here locally? I mean, I'm down in Crockett, and of course, there's a lot of bluesy type stuff down here. But but there's all kinds of stuff around us. El Dorado is a burbling music scene, and Warren seems like they have everything going on over there too. Country, rap, all kinds of things.
Yeah, they have quite a bit of, you know, they got a variety going on. I mean, it just ain't blossoming like it should be. But yeah, they have quite a few things going on. There's really nowhere around here for no live music venue no more. You know, the one that had Spanky just shut down. So I mean, there's really nowhere to play live no more unless you just set up on a street corner venue place and getting arrested for disturbing peace.
Yeah, and you playing a very specific thing there. So there's no artistic freedom around here right now. That COVID kind of put up what it sounded like.
About the closest thing you got really is Little Rock.
I mean, there's no. I guess there's something going on there, but you got to have a gig to go there too. You can't just show up on a street corner there either. Hey.
No, but they got venues up there that's open, you know, for artists such as, you know, local artists and everything. I got a good friend up there, Michael Sangster, and he's in 3 different bands, and they stay here.
Yeah, I bet you could like that. Now, I went, you know, like I said, I've been talking about going to New Orleans lately. And I went down and stayed a long weekend down, and man, I got to see all kinds of acts. I'm talking about people that are just on the streets playing, and they turn movies around here, you know. But we had a
great, good piano player around here. You might know him, Tony Phillips.
I know Tony Phillips. Yeah, he's older than us. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, he's in Little Rock. He's a fan of my music too. He gave me a shout out here not long ago. And he moved up there and they doing good. I just ain't made it up there yet.
Now he's been in what was that band called? Midnight Sun or something like that? For years.
Oh shit. Tony, boy, he's been
everything.
Just about everything really popping around here, really.
He was good. He played with the best of the best. He was really good. I give to Tony that. I can't remember him in my 20s, and he was good.
You don't know Michael Sangster? He's multi-talented. He can play just about whatever you sit him down in front of.
I know a lot of guys like that, and then they can sit there and you could play Leonard Skinner, or you could play Metallica, or you could play whatever, and they play it. You know, Hank Jr.
I tell you, another one was really talented. He slept on real hard around here, and that's a fella by the name of Terry Anderson. They call him Big Stick. And me and him been doing music about 20, 25 years now. Well, ever since I started, he was already doing it when I met him. And I known him for about 20 years. And I come across a set of drums, and I was back there tapping on them drums, playing. And I thought I was really doing something. And he was like, let me play them drums. Of course, I was like, yeah, go ahead. You know, I didn't think he could do shit. But shit, he sit down behind the drums and tore them things up. I'm like, I knowed you all this time, and I didn't know you played the drums. Where the hell you been?
Yeah, I judged a music festival over there in Warren about in 2013. And they had this guy, he was from Warren, but he went off to Little Rock and had a beer, and they played like a hardcore, I say hardcore, but it's hardcore banjo music. You know, hardcore, alt bluegrass. It wasn't like you could sing, but it was heavy as shit. And that guy there, man, I don't know who he was. I can't even remember his name. I actually voted against him on it because the other band, they were better on stage. But that guy, man, their music was tight. The music, if I was just judging music, I would have judged that guy because they played tight and they played fast. They didn't miss a note anywhere. So, and I saw a couple other bands up there like that, and, you know, and some guys that could just talk, rap into it. Warren. There's a lot of diversity up in that little area up there. From what I've seen.
When I come home from Nashville, Tennessee, wasn't nobody doing nothing. And I got it going. And I don't know, some of them, I've had people pull me over and ask me why come I ain't doing more than I'm doing, because I'm somewhat a pioneer to it around here. I brought the music scene here and the video scene here. And wasn't nobody doing nothing like I was doing when I started doing it. And when they caught up to me, and I tried to move a step ahead and do something different from what they were doing. In other words, if they were doing the music, I was going to do the video. You know, if somebody did the videos, and I was trying to get into the advertisement part of it. Because a lot of people want to base this music stuff on talent, but you know, a long time ago, this might have been what it was. But today it's not about talent, it's about your business pack. And you can listen to the radio and tell there's a lot of people that suck on the radio, but they got the business part of it down. You know, you take me and Eminem you put me and Eminem in the same club, and if Eminem can't he might be the famous one out there, but if he cannot make the crowd go to the bar and buy some drinks, and I did, I'll be back before Eminem because I made him buy drinks, the boss made money. Now, he's making money, we'll all be happy.
That's the key. See, to a band, if you're going to work with people in music, I mean, it's hard to be a Dave Grohl by yourself. I mean, you know, his first album. And you need other people because everybody brings something different to the table. Some people can throw shit together. And I've heard that about you. That's kind of why I was bringing it back. Because I've heard, you know, with all the people you recorded, that you recorded with, and they said that whenever you're in that environment, that's your fucking shit right there. You have that dedication and patience to tie down a song and complete it. And not everybody can do that. They want to talk about all these big dreams. Like, I'm gonna write the best song ever, and never do. You know, they just talk shit. You know, but getting in there and making it happen, Jimmy, is a totally different fucking thing.
Yeah, I thank you and shout out to all those who gave you that information, man. I appreciate them. But the one that really gave me my time, taught me time and patience on this here, is a fella by the name of Arkansas Bo out of Stuttgart, Arkansas.
I've heard of a lot of stuff out of Stuttgart. People from Warren. What is that? What's going on with that?
I can't explain what's going on with everybody, but what's going on with me with it is my tie into Arkansas Bo. And I had a thing called Outlaw Weekly News, and I contacted him a while back, a long time ago, and I talked to him for about 2 years over the telephone, and I agreed to meet him in Dallas, and pick him up. He needed a ride, and I went out there to pick him up to give him a ride back. But when I got out of my Suburban and walked up to greet him, he said, yeah, that's all good and everything, but I'm looking for Jimmy. I'm like, I'm Jimmy. He just looked at me and laughed. He said, like, talk again. So I got to talking to him. He said, man, I've been talking to you on the phone for about 2 years now. I swear to God you were black. I said, no, this is me right here. And it blowed him away it blowed him away so hard that on the next album that he put out, I think it was called the Inauguration. It's about the time Obama was being elected. Yeah. And he had an album called The Inauguration. And on that album, there's a track on there that simply says, James Speak. That's my real name, is James. It's James Speak. And what it was, I got slobber knocked on some liquor one night, but listening to him, he just got so beat with his words that it was blowing me away. And I just really called him up and gave him props, praised him a little bit. And that's the track that he put on his album.
Yeah.
And, but since then, I mean, me and him been pretty hand in hand. He went on, I think, he got signed with Scarface on his record label down there. And, he's doing things. He's got a good following.
And like we were talking about, it's about bringing other people into it because we can't do it forever. But,
right.
So you got to get other people. And like with us, and a lot of it, I mean, I know from what I've heard about you is that, now what I've seen is you can put stuff together in the studio. And man, if you can get, I don't know how it works. But people are always looking for a studio. If they have a receptive studio, they can make them sound alive. We talk about this the other day, some people will hate on the 808 or whatever else, but there's still great ways to make a good beat. And of course, not everybody can make a beat. If you never get that beat somebody can sing to, man, you can do all kinds of things. You know what I'm saying? I
got a partner up in Nashville. His name is Charlie P. 1080P. He's Young Bucks manager, and he signed up church at first, but something happened between them. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but he let it go. And I remember him asking me if I heard of Church yet. And at the time I hadn't. I told him no, but me and Brian Jenkins was in partnership. And he come to me, we split up for a minute, and he come back, he said, I'd like, to get back with you and everything. I said, okay, that's fine. He said, I only have one request. I said, what's that? At the time, I had a thing called Jimmy's Chicken Shack going on in front of my carport. You just come by and play live music. I recorded, put it on YouTube. And he said, and before anything ever started, I had this chicken crowing at the beginning of it. And I'd had that chicken on my shit for a long time, but he wanted me to get that chicken up at the beginning of it. I said, okay, I'll get the chicken. And I was talking to Charlie one night, he just took some of my stuff, and had that chicken. Well, I gave it up. Next thing you know, that's about the time our church blew up real big. And we were doing shows up in New Edinburgh with, we were bringing in Big Chuck, Big Poe, and all these cats here. And Up Church come on, and that damn chicken was on the front of it. And he looked at me, he said, I told him, I want you to hear this song. So I put it on, that chicken went off. He looked at me, he said, there's that damn chicken again. I said, yeah. I said, and I gave that damn chicken up for your ass, and we still ain't got paid. Now he getting paid off of it. And then when this coronavirus hit, I like, you know what? I told my wife, I said, this would be time to do a show without an audience. Just, put the blue screen up in the bedroom and get down. Everybody quarantined. And I was talking to Charlie P about it, and they said, I know, here come Up Church doing a show. He was one of the first ones out doing a show with no audience in it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to quit giving that my damn idea.
That's a hard task to do. I saw a lot of guys do it. But now, go back to those Jenkins. Now, you talked about him a couple of times. Tell us, what is his specialty? What does he do?
He falls in under the hip hop label, and he does hip hop music. Basically singing about the country life and riding the back roads and drinking, and he sings, plays guitar. And he used to do a lot of Pipeliner music.
Is he still playing, or y'all? I know y'all still just kind of going now.
Yeah, he's still playing, and there's talks about us getting back together. Just ain't nobody really just. We said but we ain't put nothing, forward on it. And he's linked up with some fellas. out of Louisiana, I think it is. I could be mistaken, but he's involved in a little bit bigger ring than I am. He gets to go to the big studios and stuff, but I'm still stuck at the home studio, which that's fine with me. I think it makes it good. But
you never know. They may need some other kind of influence. So that's what I would say. You talk about it. If they need you, I'm sure you'd help them out. I'm sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I help them out, man. Yeah. I like to stay humble with it. I don't like to take no recognition for nothing. I don't like to be put up on no pedestal, no stuff like that. To me, I don't feel like that's me. I don't belong up there.
Well, again, look here. I play music, of course. You think you got everything lined out, and then you hadn't got a good somebody can play bass. If you're playing rock and roll music, so then you need a bass. Right. And so, like a bassist is the most hardest thing in the world to find where you need one. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when you get somebody that can do something and you do it like they play it like you like to play it, I mean, that's unbelievable. Of course, it's hard to find good talent, man. I mean, a lot of people, they can sit around a campfire and play guitar, but there's difference when you go into a studio and you're having to produce the same track with the same lead, 17 times. It's a different story.
Right. On 20 different songs.
Yeah, and it's got to sound a little bit different. It can't be like the same shit. That's the same 4 notes he played last time. Yeah.
A couple of years back, I had linked up with Jeff Miller. He's an excellent drummer out of Monticello, Arkansas. I put my money on him before I would anybody in Arkansas. And me and him had talked about getting together with some of my music. Of course, I'm in the rap genre, so, all it really is just, you got your show CD and you on stage. So I thought about, having him sit back there with them drums and stuff, and give a different viewpoint on it, different sound and everything, I don't know, we both kind of fell into hard times at that time. It was hard for us to get back and forth, to rehearsals and stuff, and it fell through, but definitely something I'm still very interested in. If you hear this, Jim, holler at me.
Holler at Jimmy, because I'm going to tell you right now, things are different than it was. And let me tell you this, too. Like with live shows, man, I've seen some of my favorite entertainers. There's one guy named Charlie Crockett, and he's from a Texas guy, and he plays, mostly. If you were to listen to him on some albums, you would think he was like playing old style country music, but listen to other albums, you're thinking he's playing old style African American influenced music. But now, his great grandmother was black. And he brings both of those to the table, and he excels at both of them. And the backing band that's following him changes sometimes. So it may be a little bit more groovy sometimes, and sometimes it may be a little bit more country. So, people are available and unavailable all the time. And a lot of times we pretend like it's a fight between us, but really it's just because we're busy with other shit and you can't give us time right now. But now... Right. So, it ebbs and flows, So I get what you're saying. Sometimes if those guys got available, Jimmy, because, it's not about making music. It's not about personality. It's about making music, if you really boil it down.
And Jello, really brought back the artist's point of view of music. Up to Jello, before he came out, back in the old days, back in the 70s, shit, before the videos really came out, it didn't matter what you looked like, as long as you had that voice. And then the 80s came through with the MTVs and stuff like this. Now all of a sudden you had to be a hot motherfucker. You had to be a hot girl and a hot boy, and damn near have a soft porn video before they would even consider putting you on MTV. And, so that put people falling into the stereotype. You have to look like this, you have to look like that to make it. And that, the video killed the radio star. Then I noticed whenever Jello came out that it didn't matter no more. Video didn't kill the radio star. It's wide open. With the internet, you don't have to have a record label no more. You can be independent and make money. But Jello brought back he's this big greasy dude, but he jams and he touches people. And he brought back the fact that you don't have to look no kind of certain way. You just have to make sense, and you have to just be real with your music.
Well, I was down in New Orleans. Again, I keep throwing this up because, man, I've seen talent. We've all heard it on the radio. man, I saw this guy walk up on stage. This guy's a little bitty short guy, about as wide as a wheelbarrow, buck teeth. But that son of a bitch was the best singer and the best guitar player I ever heard. If I didn't ever see him, if I wouldn't look up at that big screen at that NFL game watching the Saints get beat in the last overtime, fucking Falcons, which I hated to see. I went to one fucking game and there I got beat. Anyway, I saw this shit and I was sitting there thinking to myself, this guy right here is the tightest. I mean, he was up there with the tightest band ever. You know, you play at a pre-Super Bowl NFL, you know, in the New Orleans Saints. You ain't bullshit. But this guy he wasn't that pretty thing like it used to be. You know, you used to have to be Poison or, you know, some kind of a long-haired, you know, boy, girl boy, you know, Kurt Cobain kind of shit. But now, you know, it's different now. The world has moved on, man. We're not where we were 30 years ago, for sure.
Yeah, because you could go to a rap show and you would see no cowboy boots. You see Cadillacs with spinners and clean tennis shoes. But now you might see Harleys parked outside, you know, the baby show, you might, you know, going there, might be bikers in that jam. You know, everything just totally swapped around.
I've been seeing some younger black guys, you know, I see them around town. I drive a little four-wheel drive. Then they have one too, and they're right. You know, everybody got a forward drive, kind of check each other out. So, you know, my shit's half inch taller than yours or whatever. So I'm seeing something different than what I used to see for sure.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying it because it means your target crowd is getting bigger. No longer do you have to be stereotyped because you're white, you got to listen to hard rock, vice versa, you know, or country or whatever. It's okay to listen to whatever you want to listen to nowadays. It's okay to be you nowadays. And with that being said, it just makes your target crowd that much bigger, which means there's potential for you to make that much more money.
As an artist, that's the way to be. I mean, the way it was probably by the time you and I were graduating high school in the late 80s. I turned 18 in 1989. So, you know, this is my 50th year. So, yeah, it is different than it was back then. Of course, you know, it was beginning to break through. Hell, even Vanilla Ice started breaking through. But now he didn't really truly cross over until there was some black artists that came back this way. And like with me, whenever I first heard, you know, Tupac and, you know, Death Around the Corner and NWA and all that, I was like, you know, I can listen to this. Any kind of, you know, Roxanne, even back in the 80s, it had appeal for me because I like a good beat. I don't give a shit, you know. It has a good beat and something I can vibe with is what I'm going to do. But now, me and you both are kind of early adopters.
Yeah, you can call it early.
Yeah. But I had other people. I remember way back, I had a guy in my early teens, and he was. I guess he was kind of a mixed race guy back then, but he brought me in and showed me everything. He played the country. He had an LP collection that I think his mom, who was white, and he was darker skinned, but she had hooked him up with his LP collection of everything from, you know, the very funkiest black music to the very country of country music, and we listened to all of it. And that dude did listen to all of it back then, and like that's the audience you talk about now. Everybody's like, "Hey man, it's got a good beat, and it's not, you know, racist or anything like that." I'm gonna listen to it, you know.
Right. Even if it is racist, I'm gonna listen to it. Just try to get a better understanding of where they're coming from. Of whoever, whether it be a white racist or a black racist, I'm gonna listen to it. Now I might not listen to it in front of everybody, because they might not understand where I'm coming from. But I just want to know different viewpoints on a certain topic.
Some people put stuff out there so that they can get reaction. So I mean, yeah, right. That's the point. You know, that's what they want, and which is it's this dialogue. And I understand, man. Look here, I got into this mode the past year or so during the pandemic. Everybody talking about Civil War. I started studying that Civil War. And I went back and I studied all these, you know, Shelby Foote, all these deep writers of it. And there's plenty of stuff to study. And studying all that, and I'm like going, this is dumb. You know, I mean, because, you know, we've always kept each other out, and we can always do better if we're all helping each other out. And nobody anybody than anybody else.
Most folks totally overlook the whole music thing where it started from anyhow. Rock and roll music got started. If it hadn't been for slaves playing the blues out in the field, rock and roll would never be here.
That's true. That's true.
You take most rock music and look at the basis of it, how it's set up. It's all set up around the blues, you know, so pretty much simple 1, 2, 3, 4 music.
And some of it wishes it was a blues. You know, that's
yeah.
You know, I tell you right now, when I went over there and I first got into blues, and, you know, whiskey and jazz, and then the blues. And then when you get in the blues, man, and you start hearing those old guys, you know, I'm talking about old school, Lead Belly and all those like very primitive recordings, Muddy Waters, all that kind of stuff. And further back, you know, Blind Lemon, I mean, there's 100 different names, 100 different men playing the same songs over and over again, more primitive than the others. And you hear music now and you think, yeah, it did come from that, because it's basically the same chords, they're just plugged up with different technology added to it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, it's I love it the way it is nowadays. I love it even more for the fact that we get to give the record labels the big middle finger. You know, we don't have to have your ass no more. Even though they control the radio stations and shit, but you don't have to have the radio stations no more. You get the music heard. We got YouTube and different, you know, formats of this, you know.
It's a time for an artist. You know, used to you had to have a big contract, but now, if you got something that people want to hear and you can figure out that one little viral way to get it out, man, it's all there for you. But
yeah, man, I know there's artists out there that made money. I'm talking about there's artists that made money had never even done a show.
Yeah.
They just worked that damn internet.
That's right. All you need is that one little bass. I mean, really, you need it for that one little thing that everybody likes, you know, and for it to be marketed right. But hey, we're going to come up with another conversation another day. I got to jump off here in a little bit, but finish it out for me. Tell me where you think music's at and kind of what you want people to. I tell you what, don't even tell me that. Tell me how people can get a hold of you, and then, you know, make sure we have some links, and we'll play some music in the background of this conversation. And I think we're about an hour right now. That's as much as anybody want to hear me and you, or at least me anyway.
Yeah. Well, you can go on YouTube. I got my own channel, Deacon Jim channel. You can go to www.deaconjim.bandcamp.com and buy my music. You can go to SoundCloud, look up Deacon Jim. I have music on there for sale as well. And I got some music on Apple, the iTunes Spectrum. You can go there and buy my music. Man, or you can pick up the phone call 952-1370 and you'll reach me.
Jimmy, man, I'm going to tell you right now, I appreciate you jumping on tonight. I'm going to get with you on making sure I have all those links correct, and we'll get them posted. And I most certainly appreciate your time tonight, sir. Have a great evening. I appreciate your time. Thank you, Jimmy.
Hey, yeah, I'd like to give you a special shout out to Arkansas Bo. And I'd like to say rest in peace to all the artists that's passed on before me. Young Dolph passed today. Rest in peace to him. And I appreciate you calling me for the interview.
Thank you, Jimmy Miller. Thank you, sir. Deacon Jim,
all right,
out. Thanks, sir. Goodbye.
Later.
And I know life a big old tear, so if I'm going to keep it real, I keep it real with myself. You know I hate it, I love it, I should, I just don't understand. We're going nowhere, nowhere. You know I hate it, I love it, I should, I just don't understand.